Hi everyone, we're doing another review video today. I took so long in the beginning of the year to do all of the games coming out, and then I had to do a lot of Let's Plays because there were so many games coming out in the beginning of the year. Now I can finally do my 6 reviews video, which I know you guys really like. So let's get started and do the very first one without further ado. The first one is Blanc, and I completely finished the game on Switch. It's available on Microsoft Windows and Switch for $19.90 Canadian for 2 hours of content, making it $9.95 per hour of content. Blanc is a beautiful hand-drawn adventure that follows a lost wolf, cub, and fawn as they journey through a vast snowy world to reunite with their families. With text-free storytelling, players immerse themselves in this poetic tale, relying on each animal's unique strengths to navigate harsh weathers and obstacles. The simple 2-button gameplay makes it accessible to all, emphasizing cooperation and companionship. Designed for 2-player play, Blanc can be experienced locally on the same screen or online, offering a heartfelt and visually stunning adventure. For me, the pros was that it was absolutely stunning visual style and art, and hand-drawn by artists. It's from Quebec too, so Canada-based game design is always very close to my heart. The second pro is that it's a very perfect couple game or just 2-player game in general. You get to puzzle solve together, and it's short enough to be just one session of gameplay. Me and Michael, my husband, we played it on the plane. We put the Switch on the tray and we were able to play that way, and it worked very well. The story itself is beautiful, and as someone who doesn't like animal abuse, it didn't make it too upsetting. Like, there was no animals being harmed in any way. Like, I know Stray is a really beloved game, but Stray has a lot of cat death, so I don't know if I could actually play that one. So it was very wholesome, a really good cozy game, and it was perfect. The cons is that it's pretty short for the price, so you were probably shocked by the $20 price point for 2 hours of gameplay. But for me, because I love the game so much, I thought the price was completely worth it. It's also on sale a lot, so definitely get it on a sale. The second con is that it's not super challenging. The puzzles are pretty simple, so it's good to play for little ones, but maybe if you like challenging games, this isn't for you. The reviews say that there are a few bugs, though I didn't experience any myself, so maybe it was from the early parts when the game was just released. I just thought of a third con. So when Iona was playing it, she was playing it alone, and she said that it was very difficult to control both characters at the same time, making this really a 2-player game and not a really good single-player game. So if you want to play this alone, it might be a little challenging for you. So my overall rating was 9 out of 10 kitty paws. I only deducted 1 point because it was very short. It could have had more dramatic storytelling and more story involved, but just deducting 1 point for that because I love the game.
In the handcrafted world of Blanc.
The next game is called Froggy's Battle. I have not finished this game. I have finished the initial normal mode, but not the complete game. It's available on PC and Linux. I played it on the Steam Deck and also my PC. It is $2.59 Canadian for 4.5 hours of content, making it 50 cents per hour. Froggy's Battle is a quirky and action-packed roguelite, where a skating frog fights off waves of adorable yet fierce enemies. Instead of walking, Froggy zips around a loop area, performing jumps, flips, and tricks to evade attacks while dishing out damage. Players can customize their playstyle with unique upgrades, combining weapons and skateboard tricks for wild over-the-top combos, like summoning thunder with a kickflip or launching a bowling ball in mid-air. As enemies and bosses swarm in, survival depends on mastering movement and firepower in this chaotic, fun-filled battle. The first pro for me is that it's a very different type of roguelike that is fun to play. The loop system is different from any other game I've played before, and I really do enjoy roguelites. It's super simple with the art style, and there's an overall wholesome vibe, especially in the loading screen where they talk about how Froggy is supportive of trans rights. The third is that it has the classic roguelike obsession loop where you can just play endlessly to get the next best run. It's a good loading game to play in short bursts because the gameplay is pretty short. The cons is that the bosses are lackluster. One of them is just the same boss but doubled, and they call it the twins, so they just copied and pasted the boss, which kind of bothered me. The game could have been way more if they just added more to it. The hard mode is way too difficult. My husband is pretty good at games and found it to be too challenging, but maybe it's a skill issue for him. The game itself is pretty short, but it's also really cheap, so it's not that big of a deal that it's short. So my final rating is a 7.5 out of 10. I wish I could finish it, but it is way too difficult for me on hard mode. The next game is called Spells and Secrets. I have not finished this game. The platforms are PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, Microsoft Windows, and Amazon Luna. I played it on Windows with my husband. It is Canadian $32.50 for 16.5 hours of content, making it $2 per hour. Spells and Secrets is a magical roguelite adventure set in the Academy of Gryffindor, where players must use creative spellcasting to battle magical creatures, solve puzzles, and uncover the castle's mysteries. As a first-year student, an unexpected incident throws the school into chaos, and it's up to you to rescue your classmates to restore order Porter. The game features deep character customization, allowing players to design their own unique wizard, and supports both local co-op and online play via Steam Remote. The pros is that it offers both local co-op and online play, which is good for a multiplayer experience if you want to play with other people, especially if you're looking for a roguelite to play with friends. The second is that very similar to Harry Potter if that's something that you like. If you like the magical school aesthetic, this is exactly what it is. The third is that it's a roguelite, meaning it has the good roguelite addicting loop, and there's not a lot of cozy roguelites out there, as you can see, like Froggy's Battle and this, and there's a few others, but not that many. The cons is that it wasn't very challenging. Most bosses had a very predictable and slow attack pattern, and it could be easily beaten on the first attempt. The second is that the mechanics and controls are not tight or responsive enough for this gameplay type, so it's a roguelite, it should be tight, but it was very slow. And the third was that there was a lot of bugs and issues. It felt unpolished, it felt like it could have been more polished, so my rating at the end was 2 out of 10, and we had to refund the game. It was actually the first game that I've ever refunded, but I just knew that we wouldn't continue playing it because there were just other roguelites that were better and more polished out there. The next game is called Boomerang Fu. The platforms are Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Microsoft Windows, and Xbox for $19.49 Canadian. It is infinite hours of gameplay because it's a party game, and I played it on Nintendo Switch with my friends. Boomerang Fu is a fast-paced, party-friendly physics combat game for up to 6 players. Using just 1 stick and 3 buttons, players battle in chaotic bite-sized rounds, mastering advanced boomerang techniques like deflecting, curving throws, and recalling lost weapons. With over 30 Fu-themed arenas filled with traps and interactive elements, the game offers diverse backgrounds for both solo and team play. A variety of outrageous power-ups such as explosive boomerangs, disguises, and telekinesis can be stacked for crazy combos. Customized rules, battle AI opponents, or compete for the golden boomerang in a frantic alternative mode. Best enjoyed with controllers, Boomerang Fu supports local and online play via Steam Remote. The pros is that it's super fun to play with friends, really easy controls for people who aren't really into gaming, so we had people who weren't into gaming and they got super into it. There are a lot of modifications and challenges, can be in the same team versus bots, and the bots have different challenge levels, so if the bots are too easy, you can just make them harder. The graphics are so cute, and there's a ton of different outfits, and the outfits are adorable as well. The cons is that it's a party game, so don't expect any story in the game. It isn't fun as a single player in my opinion, it's more fun as a party and playing with friends. And the third is that it doesn't have online co-op, which is kind of annoying if you don't like Steam Remote, because Steam Remote can be a bit laggy sometimes, but we played it on the Switch and there was no problem with that, you just all have to be there. The rating for me is a 9 out of 10, only get it if you want to play with friends and you're looking for a perfect party game. The next game is called Venba. The platforms are PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and Microsoft Windows. I played it on the Steam Deck and I've completely finished the game. It's $16.99 Canadian for 2 hours of content, making it $8.50 per hour. Venba is a heartfelt narrative cooking game about family, love, and loss, following a South Indian immigrant mother as she connects with her son through food. In this short yet cinematic experience, players cook authentic South Indian dishes like idlis, dosas, and biryani while restoring a tattered recipe book. The game blends cooking puzzles with a touching story of cultural identity and self-discovery. Featuring a vibrant, stylized art style with a soundtrack inspired by Tamil music, Venba offers a warm and emotional journey. The pros is that it's an absolutely beautiful story that is perfect in representing what it's like being a new immigrant in Canada in the 1990s and 2000s, but also now. My family immigrated to Canada in 2006 and we had exactly the same experience, with prejudice, isolation, and me trying desperately to be as much of a Canadian/American as possible just so I could have friends, and trying to ignore my culture as much as possible so that I would be as similar as other people as possible. It's so relatable and good at helping people understand what it's like to have a cultural clash, and also what it's like just being a new immigrant in Canada or America in general. The second is that the art style is beautiful. There are recipes in the end that you can cook in real life from what you play in the game, which is really cool for experiencing the South Indian culture if you're interested in cooking their food. There are various secrets that you can find to achieve achievements that's satisfying, so the achievement hunting at the end was really fun for me, and the music itself was really beautiful. The cons is that it's a pretty short story if you want something longer. It's a pretty high price for 2 hours of content. The second is that it's not a cooking sim. The cooking is more of a puzzle solving than actual cooking, like you're trying to figure out what the recipe means in this tattered book. The third is that it's more of a story than an actual game. It's more of an experience, like you're watching a movie. There is some gameplay into it, so it's not completely a movie, but you get what I mean. So my final rating, obviously this game meant so much to me. It will forever be one one of my favorite games of all time, and of course my rating was a 10 out of 10. The next and final game is called Jenny LeClue Detective Vu. The platform is on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Microsoft Windows, Linux, Mac, and iOS, and I played it on the Nintendo Switch and completely finished it. It's $25.99 Canadian for 12 hours of content, making it $2.10 per hour, but also the game is always on sale. I think I bought it for like $2 or something, so definitely get it on the sale. Jenny LeClue Detective Vu is a thrilling mystery adventure set in the seemingly quiet town of Arthurton. Players take on the role of Jenny, a sharp-witted young detective who must clear her mother's name after she is accused of murder. As Jenny unravels down the town's secrets, she encounters hidden forces determined to keep the truth buried. The game features a lovely hand-drawn world in the mid-20th century aesthetics, interactive environments filled with secrets, and a rich meta-narrative where choices impact both Jenny's story and the in-game author, Arthur K. Finkelstein. Players engage in detective work by observing suspects for subtle clues, exploring eerie locations like abandoned mines and forgotten graveyards, and solving intricate mysteries. The pros is that it's super funny and witty dialogue with amazing full voice acting, which was not expected by me, and I think a lot of people wasn't expecting full voice acting either. It was kind of like watching a movie, which was cool. The graphics are gorgeous looking, cartoony, and colorful hand-drawn, with beautiful background 2D artwork and character models. There's a lot of contrast between beautiful scenes and some creepier ones. It's still on the cozy side, but there are some creepy backgrounds. There's a nice variety of gameplay. It's easy and fun to solve the puzzles and minigames, but not too easy. The cons is that the story ends in a huge cliffhanger, and the second game may never come out. It's been a pretty long time since the first game came out, and I don't know if the second one's ever gonna come out, so if you want a finished story, you may never experience it. The controls are designed for a gamepad, so playing this game with a keyboard is quite terrible apparently, but I played it on the Switch and it was perfect for me there. The lore of the story gets kind of weird and also way too absurd, so it didn't really hit the mystery nerve for me because it was like anything could happen next, so I didn't really feel like I knew who the suspect would be. So my final rating was an 8 out of 10 just from these pros and cons. So thank you for watching. I had a lot of fun because I got to talk about some of my favorite games, and I haven't done this review video in a very long time. I will be doing lots of Let's Plays in the future, and please come watch my lives every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Sorry, 6 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. AST, which is my time zone. Thank you everyone again, and have a great day. Bye!